Welcome to the Tampa Bay IIBA chapter. This is July 3rd, 2024. This is our 171st session. Today we have the wonderful privilege of having Simas here talking about driving workforce transformation with AI automation, tools, tactics, and mindset shifts. My name is Thea Soren. I serve as president of this chapter. In fact, next week I'll celebrate 1 year as president. With nearly 30 years of experience in business analysis, I've spent almost half of that time leading various IIBA chapters. I was fortunate enough to be one of the contributors to the Business Analysis Body of Knowledge 3.0, and we are close to publishing our second in the series, Bridging the Gap Across Industries. It's a guide for business analysts wanting real case studies entering new industries. Welcome to the IIBA. For newcomers to the IIBA is the global governing authority for business analysts with approximately 30,000 members, 122 chapters around the globe, with Argentina and Denmark joining the list last month, and seven certifications. We at the IIBA are passionate about improving the world, one business, one project, and one life at a time. What are the benefits of joining the IIBA? Access to training provided by chapters around the world. Complimentary access to 11,000 outstanding books, including the Babak, along with webinars and additional resources. Networking opportunities available in various formats, audiobooks, and discounts on certification exams. Members of our chapter in Tampa Bay, Florida, aren't restricted to the residents of Florida. In fact, our members hail from all around the world. If you do not have an IIBA chapter, Tampa Bay can be your chapter. If you want to explore joining us, reach out to me on LinkedIn. This is our board for the Tampa Bay, Florida chapter. These are the folks who work behind the scenes for your benefit. We appreciate them working so diligently to keep us going. And just as we have members and participants living all around the world, so do our board members. Location is not a barrier. You'll notice that we have 2 vacant spaces on our board, and we have 1 person interviewing, but we still have a spot open for 1 other professional wanting to benefit our participants. If you're interested, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Our chapter at Tampa Bay, we strive to build a thriving community of empowered and informed business analysts. Why would you choose to join the Tampa Bay, Florida chapter? We offer multiple training sessions each week, including CBAP prep coaching. And we have built relationships with an impressive number of beneficial partners, all to benefit our participants. You can see our upcoming events on our website and the updates posted across LinkedIn and Facebook. And let's see, it didn't advance, so sorry. By the end of this year, we will have put on 200 events, and you can access all of them through our events on YouTube. You can get the index of all those at Bob's Amazing Index at rpchurchill.com. Thanks to Bob Churchill. These meetings that we've been working on for so many years have resulted in these wonderful folks reaching out to tell us that our training was a big part of their success in achieving their IIBA certifications. Of the 21, 9 have gone on to lead IIBA chapters here and around the world, further demonstrating the value that they found in the chapter and the training. You'll notice that we have 2 new additions to our list, Inez and Andrea. We're so grateful they let us know that they had earned their certifications. They're going to be joining our CBAP class later today to talk about what the experience is like of taking the test. So we have boots on the ground knowledge there. We are excited for them, but also so excited that they told us to add their names to our wall of certification. In working to enlarge the education of our community, we've partnered with several organizations to get solid teachings as well as bleeding edge information to you. But our number one partner group is you, the participants and IIBA members who work with our chapter. We're partnered with over a dozen other IIBA chapters worldwide and 2 other chapters that are just forming. Reach out to me if you need contacts at any of these chapters. We've also partnered with other organizations. The DOBAC group is based in the UK, and these others are based in Tampa Bay. Our goal, as always, is to elevate our BA community. We've partnered with several recruiting services and training companies for your benefit. These training companies are available for you, and I can give you contacts at any of them. We're also looking for a college or university to start partnering with on an active basis so that we can provide services to them. Our education partnerships give our members benefits. Apex System regularly offers free courses that cover a wide variety of useful topics. If you go to their website, choose webinars and workshops. In the next month, the Agile After Hours for Bluegrass is hosting it's a recipe exchange called 7 Degrees of Bacon. And the Product Ownership Analysis Study Group for that IIBA certification will be starting. You'll register at the Bluegrass IIBA site. Skills Development Group is one of our IIBA endorsed education providers. They're currently promoting their half-hour courses, but they have over 50 courses currently being offered, and their instructors are some of the best in the business. Estrivo is one of our newest partners. Bruce Gay is such a good trainer. I had a former student tell me that she usually wants her money and time back after training, but after having training with Bruce, it was so good. She wants to take all of his content and she's taken all of her coworkers with her. Benefits of our partnerships include discounts to you, our participants. Watermark Learning offers you a 40% discount using this code. This means you can get unlimited access to the 1,200 bank of CBAP practice test questions with a 40% discount. You can reach out to me if you need assistance in getting that done. Adaptive US, who specializes only in business analysis, offers our participants a 20% discount on all live classes and on-demand courses, excluding the IIBA exam vouchers. Adaptive does have an impressive guarantee. If you take their certification course and don't pass, they will pay for you to retake it. This is standing behind their training. And now for IIBA news you need. Those of you who are looking to earn your your ECBA, the Entry Certification in Business Analysis, it will get a bit harder as of July 22nd. If you can take it prior to that date, I would advise it. If you have taken an ECBA but have not passed it, they are letting you take it free until July 20th. So it's going to be free. I would suggest you take advantage of it. And coming up in November 14th is Global Business Analysis Day. There will be 5 different sessions, multi-hour sessions to cover the globe. You're going to be able to hear about business analysis in Brussels and Belgium and Beirut. You can hear about what they do. You can hear their success stories. It's really interesting to get out of your own little silo and hear other people talk about this thing we call business analysis. Let's address the elephant in the room. We know there are jobs out there, and we know where the talent is. If you reach out to me, I'll play BA matchmaker and get qualified individuals to your desk. We know this works because at least one of the people we've connected has obtained a job. To do something tangible to help our community find the jobs, I created an open group on LinkedIn. I post dozens of jobs here daily from my network of 16,000 connections as well as emails. You are invited to add your jobs as well or peruse as you wish. We're almost at 800 participants in this group. Let's see, next week, Heather Noggle is going to come and talk about business analysis and emerging technology. We've had Heather speak to us before. She is a wonderful speaker, and she's an expert in cybersecurity. So when she talks about emerging technology, she knows what she's talking about. The following week, Alan Austin is going to come and talk about data conversion and what a business analyst needs to know. The week after that, Bob Churchill is going to be talking about his business analysis framework. And then after that, coming soon, an 8 to 11 week simulation experience like never before. We're going to start this in August. We're going to give you step by step of walking through an actual software development lifecycle. You're going to step into roles like business analysis, product managers, project managers, developers, and more. And you're going to collaborate in real time using Mural, Miro, Visio, and more. You're going to learn by doing and grow by leading. Registration for that opens soon. And now for our presentation. Take it away.
Thank you, Thea. Let me get this all up. All right. 1 second. let me get the chat ready up just in case, because I know there's gonna be a lot of stuff in here while I'm in the chat. Right.
I don't
You all
mind
see my
monitoring
screen?
the chat for you, Simas. We can see your screen.
All right. Let me get this up. All right. Let the fun begin. All right. Let me get this. And all right. Ready to go. And all right, today we're going to be talking about driving workforce transformation, tools, tactics, and mindset shifts. I'm so excited to present this all to you guys. This is literally turned into a hobby, turned into problem solving for businesses now, and something that's changed my life completely. Ever since all the stuff I'm about to show to you guys, I've automated to almost my day-to-day life to all my businesses. And as I'll get into here, I'm going to get you guys into the AI mindset. As you see right here, I'm getting you guys right now locked into the AI mindset. All right, so why does this matter to you? So 45% of activities across industries could be automated using existing tech by McKinsey, and only 6% of PM analysts are using AI tools effectively. And people are spending about 4.5 hours a week duplicated manual tasks. That's from a Sana Work Index. Now, I went to a convention not too long ago where it was all about business analysis, and we had a keynote speaker actually come to talk to us about some of the AI and the AI automation tools. One of the ones we're going to be talking about is Make. They had one of the things that stood out to me was everybody raise your hand out of the 250 to 300 people. We only saw one to two different hands up on this aspect. What that means is there's not enough people knowing about this. And one of the main reasons is that is because a lot of the people that are starting to do this are business owners, solo entrepreneurs. How do I remove manual work from your everyday life? So ever since I started working on my businesses, one thing I've noticed is it is so important, time and time. Doing everything manual was outdated, but now we're getting a new generation where you can use AI to amplify it. So, something about me. I'm a business analyst and a project manager with certification of the Certified Scrum Product Owner and CSM. I'm also an AI automation consultant and specialist. I do e-commerce business, which I own business for it, and I do coaching for it. On top of that, I am a certified personal trainer, and the nice part is the vice president of membership for IIBA Tampa Bay. And all these automations you see on the side are actually some of my client projects that I've done for some clients. We're not going to go into detail about those ones, but this is kind of just to show you some side of me that I really love to do. And Make has such an awesome program too as well. If you're more interested about all this automation, you can do 4 different certification classes that will teach you all about automations and be able to do those at a high level. So we'll get started into here. So one of the first things I started when I was in here working as a business analyst or project manager, I had to educate myself on a strong understanding of APIs throughout my professional career, which converted into curiosity to be able to do more. I asked myself, what if there was a way to connect all those different apps we use one day? As we know, as business analysts, we are constantly on a day-to-day force. We are connecting APIs, whether it be data, whether it be connecting to another endpoint. But what if we could take it to the next level? One of the fun things that we're gonna be doing today is right here, I have a piece of paper. I'm gonna draw something in here. I'm gonna have AI, as soon as I upload it to OneDrive, it's gonna create my own signature for it and I make a digital copy out of it. Something you haven't seen out on the web or on YouTube as well. So I'm very, very excited to get into this. So the agenda today that we're gonna be going in is what is an API? We're going to go over an overview of automation tools, the popular API testing apps, connectors, mindset shifts discussion. We're also going to be discussing on different markets in the project management world, business analysts on the manual problems, and automation examples with some case studies. We're also going to give you some coaching AI tips, and then we're going to be doing some demos with some actual automations that I do on a daily basis and actual client projects that I've done for, ranging from $1,000 to $5,000. So it's gonna be super exciting to see all the stuff that I've converted my skills to into something I can give to you guys and share. So to start it all off, we want to think from the ground up. I know a lot of people who are getting started into the tech field don't really know what an API is. So I made a really good explanation of what an API is because it's going to be a lot of the root cause of what we're going to be discussing about. So to kickstart it off, an API, also known as an application programming interface, is like a waiter at a restaurant. You, the user, tell the waiter you want, like ordering a burger. The waiter, which is the API, takes your request to the kitchen, the system gets the food data and brings it back to you. In the same way, an API helps two apps talk to each other and exchange information quickly, automatically, and behind the scenes. We're always known in the workforce to just think as getting one API to another API. But what if we took it to the next level where you using all these apps day to day, OneDrive, you're using things like Google Sheets, all these. What if instead of just going from one to one and the old process of going manual from one to one, you could go to almost 10 to 20 to 30 of these different apps in an instance. The amount of manual time that you are removing right there is incredible. And you can almost think of each one of those apps that's removing that is almost like an employee, which is for those people who are solo in business is life-saving. I'm excited to show some of the examples that we're going to go in an actual email one of our clients sent in. And I'll kind of explain to you the thought process and how we broke it down and how we're going into detail on this. So I know a lot of the BAs here and product managers use a lot of these testing apps for APIs. So this is just kind of the core basics. I know a lot of you heard about Postman, Insomnia, Swagger. I know there's a decent amount that I've used or at least touched one of these just to do some basic testing, do the HTTP posts, and pull up information or updating. So as we're going to get to the overview of automation tools, one of the first thing is we want to increase efficiency. Automation tools streamline repetitive tasks, allowing teams to focus on high-value activities and improve overall productivity. Another one is that we have error reduction. By minimizing manual input, automation significantly reduces the likelihood of errors, ensuring accurate data handling and reporting. One of the biggest one, I would say the key points out of automation tools that is one of the biggest things for all my clients is scalability. These automation solutions enable businesses to scale, operate easily, adapting to growing demands without the need for extensive additional resources. Definitely one of the biggest things while working with any of my clients is they want to be able to scale. That's the first thing they come up to me is, how do we figure out how to scale? I'm so tired, I'm burnt out. I want to figure out ways to remove all my manual work. They're working on one app, they're doing another app, they're getting forms and they're manually uploading to another one. It's just so much manual work for that time. It's just draining their time. And the nice part is, as we get into it, you'll start seeing some of these projects come in hand. So one of the main things as we're going to be talking in here is the trigger. That is the very first thing on the automation, and that is the action that streamlines the task and save time. By setting up specific triggers, tasks can be automated to execute actions, enhancing efficiency and reducing manual workload for professionals. This is going to be the first thing that we set up. Like for instance, you upload a form. That is the first trigger. Somebody submits some information. That is the trigger being pulled out. Now, embracing change for success. Think about it. We have flexibility in thinking. Imagine you develop a mindset that adapts easily to change, allowing for quicker adjustments to new technologies and processes. Another one is collaboration and communication. What if we foster open communication among teams to share insights and learn from each other, enhancing overall efficiency and productivity? Another thing I love about all this automation is it's continuous learning. We encourage ongoing education and training to keep skills up to date, ensuring team members can effectively utilize new tools and practices. One of the biggest thing is in automation and this headspace is there's always room to grow. Another skill set where somebody else is knowledgeable at, I could actually use their information and turn it into an automation. The nice part, every single person in my life that I've got through, they've always had some sort of manual task, and I'm learning from everybody else around me. That is another nice part about being a BA and a project manager. We are professionals at requirement gathering. So it's one of the most key components to automation is understanding your client, being able to pull the right information. We are professionals at asking questions and the whys. So when you come hand to hand to all the automation and what we're building out here, you're going to start to see that it's such a crucial tactic to use is requirement gathering on a day-to-day basis. So on top of that, we're gonna be exploring some content generation automation. So super excited about going into this one. So the overall benefits is this is it's gonna increase efficiency because content generation automation significantly reduces the time spent on repetitive writing tasks, allowing teams to focus on strategic initiatives. Another one we have on top of that is one of the main key points is consistent quality. Automated tools ensure that produced content adheres to predefined standards, maintaining a cohesive brand voice and message across platforms. With that being said, we also have enhanced creativity. By automating mundane tasks, team members can redirect their energy towards creative pursuits, leading to innovative ideas and improved outcomes. And one of the top things that challenge manual work face is data entry errors. We have so many different people, manually inputting, which leads to significant mistakes, resulting in wasted time and resources that correct errors. I've actually got to work with a client outside of my professional life, where every single day they were inserting data from their forms into Google Sheets. And when we were talking it over, we've noticed so many different errors. Either one small letter, one small mistake, and everything's messed up. The emails are not correct. We're wondering why we're having it. The amount of time recorrecting those mistakes is money lost and extra time they have to spend into. So another thing that goes with this is the time-consuming reporting. Creating a report manually is a tedious process that drains productivity and delayed decision-making. With that is another one we have is the repetitive task. We have workers frequently engage on monotonous tasks, diminishing job satisfaction and hindering focus on higher value work. As we start getting more into this, we're going to start seeing how your brain's going to start shifting from these day-to-day applications that we're using on one-by-one basis by being able to think on levels where we're going to putting a lot of applications to work together to get an output. One of the main applications we're going to be going over is Make. It is one of my favorite features. I use it almost every single day. I've helped speed up around 30 to 40 different clients, and it's one of those businesses where very low upfront, lots of knowledge, and also very high referral rate. So one of the things that got me into this is the fact how it's such a fun puzzle game. Think about it. We're all BAs. In some sort of sense, we all love playing and putting things together. This is another level on a higher extreme. And the best part is a lot of your real world examples, your real life examples, you could apply these skill sets and automation and put into use. You want to write out a blog, you could automatically have this scan an RSN feed. It could be sent over to an AI to analyze it. It could be sent over to Google Doc and be formatted, and then you could put it out to a WordPress vlog or any of that sort in seconds. So what is Make that we're going to be going in? It is a powerful no-code platform that lets you connect apps and automate workflows with a visual interface. You connect apps like Google Sheets, Airtable, Gmail, Slack, Notion, and so many more. They have about 2,000 different applications on there, and they're constantly growing. The nice part too is it is a drag and drop and visually built to build complex workflows. I know a lot of people who are BAs and project managers don't know anything about a lot of the development work. The nice part about Make, it almost makes us into developers. That is one of the key features that I love. And the nice part is when you explain to a client on the outside level, they get to understand like how we put all these things together. Just because we are not coders, but we also understand the business aspect and how to put all these things together and learning APIs on a level that is just outstanding. With Make as well, we also have set triggers based on events and connected apps. With that, we have processed data with powerful filters and transformers. Let's have an example. We submit a form, it goes into Airtable entry, which is like Google Sheets. An email will be sent out confirmation that as soon as that new entry is put in and then after that, it can also notify you in Slack, and that will all be automated in seconds. Just off that form submission, it will do all that in the background. I know each one of those little entries that you see on there right there was somebody always doing that manual. You got to submit the form. Once you see the form, you have somebody go pull in the back. You put it inside the Google Sheets or the Airtable. And then after you see that, you have to send an email confirmation. And then right after that, Slack notification. You could just imagine how much extra time that takes just for one of those entries. Now imagine you have like 20, 30 people doing it all at the same time. How much time is being put just right into that? So these are one of the main the types of API connectors that are the most popular. We have Make, Zapier, NAN. Right now, the most global, biggest one known to a lot of these corporates is Zapier. And as you know, during this industry, there's always competitors. There's always somebody trying to take a better edge off of somebody else. And one of the ones that I choose out of all these three, and I've played around with all three, is Make. Something about the feel and their enhancements and they're adding grids and the pricing is just right. Zapier is considered the more expensive big brother, but is known to have more applications. And then you have an NAN, which is absolutely great for building like AI agents and putting in nodes. NAN is more for developers, but is such a huge asset to be using every day. And right here, I kind of put in a little list of differences just in case anybody was curious after this presentation. The nice part about the one we're going over today is Make. You can actually sign up with a free plan and you don't have to pay any money at all just to play around and touch it. Sometimes I give it to my clients and set some accounts up for them just so they can play around, just to understand what this all is, so they can use it on a day-to-day basis. And then I help them build up high-level automations, and they understand are more comfortable getting into this. The nice part about Make is that it's so cheap, even on their expensive plans. You can't host it, but it also has a really nice drag and drop interface that makes it very easy. They have around 2,000 pre-built integrations, and it's best for small businesses, medium businesses, solo entrepreneurs, and advanced business automations. And Zapier has always been in one of those games for one of the longest times. And it's just the fact is these two competitors now are trying to lower the price. It is really expensive. I mean, look at that, $20 for 750 tasks versus you have Make for $9, 10,000. So these other competitors are trying to get into the game with Zapier and do something that they can do as well, just for a lower price and make sure to give you the best resources. All right, so we're going to start shifting the mindset from doers to designers. We want to stop executing manual processes and start designing automated workflows that execute themselves. From process followers to problem solvers, move beyond following established procedures to reimagining how work should be done. Think like an automation first solution builder. Ask, can this be automated before starting any task? This is your edge in a new workforce. I know it's a thing that not a lot of people talk about in the everyday business field. I'm going to actually a lot of networking events and people in the business field, business analysis, and the amount of people that I've heard have not looked into this is almost close to none, maybe like 5% of people. And as soon as we start getting to these demos and some of these examples we're going to go into, you're going to start really understanding and see how much of impact some of these things you might be applying to everyday work life or everyday life outside of work. So one of the mindset shifts. So get ready to embrace change for a greater efficiency, innovation. I know a lot of the project managers, business analysts use a lot of these different applications here. Jira, Asana, Trello, ClickUp, Slack, Microsoft Teams. With all the automations we're about to go into, a lot of these applications are actually partnered with these different companies. So you could streamline a lot of these projects and also get cards created with Make and Zapier as well. So I listed in some of the problems that the manual industry has for the business analyst and the product manager. So some of these are as auto syncing tasks across platforms. We have automated weekly or monthly reporting, client or stakeholder notification, forms to workflow integrations, real-time status dashboards, change tracking and escalation, meeting scheduled automation, approval workflows, CRM and lead management. I know a lot of different BAs are doing a lot of these different tasks manually, but what if you could start thinking on a higher level? How can we make this happen? I know that if you could map down all the things you do on a day-to-day basis at your work, a lot of those things can be completely automated. And the nice part is, as you start seeing these examples, you're going to start opening your mind a little bit more to what is possible. How can I automate? You looking at this task and you're going to start seeing this, oh, I can actually connect this and this together, and I could completely automate this process. We actually did something where one of our process was with one of our clients where I'm fully dedicated with the client and we have a developer. And one of the things we've noticed is, hey, we're working on projects, but our client constantly wants to put in projects. So how do we fix that? One of the first things we actually came up with was actually showed to one of my managers make, and I was showing exactly what client were signing in with a template. And the nice part is a client could pretty much fill out a form with all the kind of questions that you would ask as a BA. And you know, when you're really busy on projects, the client will fill it out. And the nice part, it will automatically create a Jira card and also a number for it. And it also can notify the client. So on a high level, you know, how much impact this could do as you're working on projects, you know, on a long term. So let's get into an example. As we're starting to kind of get into the discussion, I want to be able to start getting you understand and get into make. Before we get into this, do we have any questions? I know this is going to be a lot of information, so I want to try to get as much information or any questions from you guys out right now. And if not, I'll give it ahead. Slide deck, maybe. Peter, I'll definitely get the slide deck available. I'll work that and get that up for you. All right, but let's get into one of our examples. So use case. When someone submits a form, a task is created in Jira or Asana, and the submitter receives a confirmation email. So this is where you start rewiring your brain. So how does it work? What's the trigger? What are the actions? So for this one, the trigger is the Google form via, it could be their webhook or a Google Sheets watch, which we're going to be able to see and make as we go into detail. The action that triggers it is the create a task in Jira, Asana, and ClickUp. So that's such as adding a title, a description, a due date, priority. And you can include all those in a form. That is the action it's going to be providing. With the last step is sending out a email to submitter email with a message with a confirmation and a task ID. You can link all of those together with make. All right. So as we start getting to make, this is just a big overview and example. We're getting to a very simple, basic automation. One of the main ones is like we discussed, you get a Google form. So imagine your client sends you a request. They have a form they fill out. Awesome. They have it sent. Nice part is it will go automatically to Jira and create that card. And then after it's been created, it will give the client the actual card of the Jira to give them a confirmation. I even filled out a little outcome. So you see right here, you fill in the new project request, you put the name of a project, you can do whatever you want. But I just try to keep it as simplified as possible just to get you guys start thinking of different ideas how you can use it on a day-to-day. So as you see right here, the client would fill out the form, they would submit it, and then it would go to create a brand new card, and you would see an add share button to a website. You see that card right there is being created, and you see at the very top right here, it is being pulled from that data point. And then the business case is kind of the description, and then we prompt it out so you also see the priority on here as well. And the nice part is you can also match on Jira's the fields, and it will promote like a message like this. As you see, this is the name of the card. So you see right here, test 4, that's the card number. I've automated to send it out there as well. So actual case study client. One of these clients I've worked for, they actually reached out to me. They found me through some of my LinkedIn projects and my group. And this project itself right here, I asked them if I could put this on their, presentation. They said, yeah, go ahead. Around this one was around $1,500 for this whole automation. Just to give you an example, and then I'm gonna give you the overview. And then once we get past this one, I'm gonna show you how I break it down and start thinking and rewiring your brain to seeing the right information. So I'll get started off with just reading one of the case study of one of our clients. And he's a sole entrepreneur. As you can see, once I start going into detail, you start seeing how much work he's doing. And imagine as one person, how much time this is taking. And if you're making good amount of money, you're going to spend extra money to save that time to spend with your loved ones or just be able to work on other projects. All right, so let's start off. So he asked me, hey, so there's something I'm trying to do. I'm using a bunch of different tools right now, and it's getting just to be too much. I have Typeform set up for new clients to fill out my intake or lead form. And right now, when someone submits, I have to manually take their info and copy into Airtable, Google Sheets, and sometimes even Notion just to keep track of anything. Then I'm going into Gmail, writing out my confirmation email, and every single time. Also, I'm using Calendly for my coaching sessions, and when somebody books a call, I want that info to show up automatically in Airtable, and also get that link to their notes and Notion, because I keep all my client tracking stuff there. I don't want to have to go back and forth to update anymore. And on top of that, when someone makes payment through Stripe, I need to send them a welcome email and also log that payment in Airtable with the date, amount, and client name. Again, I'm doing this all manually right now. It's just not sustainable anymore. I'm also using Slack to stay updated with my team, and love to, if anytime a new form comes in or all those books on a call, it will just ping a channel automatically so we're all in the loop. And so basically what he's trying to do is connect Typeform, Calendly, Airtable, Google Sheets, Notion, Gmail, Stripe, and Slack. And as you can kind of see, that's a lot of work. I don't think anyone wants to manually do all that time. And if you found a good resource to do all that, you got to do it. So this is kind of how I would break stuff down. The first thing you instantly start seeing is I would bold out applications. What applications are we using? So right here, as you see, is Typeform, Calendly, Airtable, Google Sheets, Notion, Gmail, Stripe, and Slack. I'll write all those applications that he wrote down and then simplify down to an action. So what is he doing with all these? So when you see every time someone fills out a form, that's an action. Booking a session, an action. Or makes a payment, mainly copying data between all those apps and updating spreadsheets. So you know it's taking a lot of time. And the pain point that he's expressing is it's time consuming, repetitive, and honestly slowing him down. So as you can see, that's a big pain point. And one of the points that you could use is to, hey, I will provide you, a little demo and we can get all this stuff automated for you completely with how you want to do it. This is an actual case study that I've had with one of my clients, and we actually got to work out the project. And ever since then, he's constantly wants me to run projects for him. So it's very awesome business where you get to help people figure stuff out, also teach them. But as you see right here, you're using a lot of your skill sets of requirement gathering, questions, asking why at a high level, but to something to a certain extent outside of the workforce. So one of the main toolkits that I recommend a lot of people to understand is Make as one of them, ChatGPT, Airtable, Tactic Fireflies, and Canva AI. The nice part is we have all those applications on Make, so you can simultaneously have everything go through one another. All right, and then so some of the basic coaching tips. This is just a simple one, but just wait, we're gonna be surprising you guys with some real demo, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody do something like this before. So one of the basic ones we have right here is you would go in ChatGPT, take an image, and you would ask, put it into an image. Gives you a little, a small, simple one, right? As we're gonna go into more detail, I'm gonna show you how I could take this. I'm gonna draw out right in front of you guys a little diagram. Take a picture with my phone, upload on OneDrive, and automatically it's going to get sent into another folder in my OneDrive that's going to have my signature and also have it in a digital design that you can show to anybody, your clients, or on LinkedIn. All right, so as we start getting into this, because we're about to be getting into the demos, the most fun part, just to be able to understand. You want to start small and simple. Begin with easy tasks to automate and gradually build your confidence and skills using AI tools. We want to leverage available resources, and we want to utilize online tutorials and communities to gain insights, support from peers during automation journey. Another one as well is we want to encourage a culture of experimentation, fostering an environment where team members feel empowered to try new automation tools without fear of failure. A lot of these automation groups and people trying to learn are all trying to try new things. There's no such thing as failure. It's you're learning something to do better next time. The nice part about this is you get to automation, you best way you learn is from actually doing it and actually retaining that skill set of constantly figuring stuff out and doing it quicker. As I started doing a lot of these automations, a lot of them were failing and breaking. A lot of people don't want to show that side. But every single time you do it, you get better. You get one really hard automation, next thing you know, everything becomes easier. And it's a snowball effect. And you just become so good at doing this, you're gonna start being able to use it everywhere. You can make LinkedIn posts, you could have it scrape information from over the web. I have projects where every single month it will scrape websites across all of the US to send over to a client and it's filtered out. We can get to these type of high levels of automations, but you got to start small when you start working on these. All right, so we're gonna be start discussing into the automation demos. We're gonna be going over 3 different automations. So one of the ones I just talked to you about is the picture to online design. This one is I sold for actually $1,500 for the automation, and we're only using 2 applications for this. So simple, right? But imagine as somebody who's constantly on a day-to-day basis who wants to post, social media articles or something like that, and they're always going to different events and they just feel like they're taking pictures, but like, how do I turn this into my own design, or how do I use the information that I saw or somebody drew out and put it to myself? Well, one of the demos we're going to be going into is this one right here, and I'm going to be showing you something that you won't even find on YouTube. Another one, an AI automation blog. This is another one I sold for $1,000. I probably sold three of these already. And all the ones we're going to be connecting is Google Sheets, Claude AI, ChatGPT, Image, and WordPress. Those are all different applications we're using, and we're going to be connecting those with APIs. And of course, I had to put in a fun personal hobby project, so just so you can see a little bit of my personality. And this one's actually AI car mechanic. So one of the things I love to do is working with cars. And one of my favorite things is I've even built a AI agent where it's trained on my girlfriend's car. So any car questions, it'll go right to her. She'll know right away. And it's programmed and trained on the car and pictures of every single aspect of her car, so it knows every single detail about it without having to ask me. As you know, that itself takes time for people who have girlfriends. All right, so the fun begins. Let's get into some automations. All right, so the one we talked about is the image test. All right, so let me get the camera. All right, do you guys see that? You see that? All right, so let's draw a little pie chart. Let's go right here, right here, and we'll put 33, 33, 33. All right, you guys see it?
You
Right.
need 1 more%.
Go ahead and put a percent.
No, no,
I'm-
one of them has to be 34%.
well, let's leave it for 33 because I'm out of space on this one. So what I'll do now is, all right, and the nice part is I'm going to take a picture of that. Took a picture on my phone. Let's see if it works. Can't see it, but right now what's going to do is I'm uploading it right now as a JPEG to Google Drives. So I'm uploading it right now. And right now I have this automation run every 15 minutes. So that means as soon as 15 minutes is passed up, this automation will run by itself. So we see my image that we just posted right here. So there you go, 33, 33, 33. Now I'm going to kind of show you what's going to happen. So every single thing at the top you see right here is called a connection. That is your login to the API for the application. So every single application you're using on here, for instance, Google Drive, you need to log into their system and their APIs and collect one of their API tokens. So you see right here, we're going to start running this out. It sees the Google Drive. So that was the action it triggered. You see it's watching the file. Right now, what's doing is analyzing the actual image right now. So let's see. As you see right here, review this image, the prompt. A clean circle divided by three straight radii into three equal wedges shaped, each slice simply labeled 3, 3. So it analyzed that picture with AI. And the way it does that is, as we finish, we'll let it go through for a little bit, but I'm gonna show you kind of the prompting. This is where you start thinking even more because there's so many different ways of prompting. So you could even make this crazier. Like you could turn some of these pictures that you took on right here. If you are a mother, you could take a picture of like your little kid's drawing and you could turn it into an actual paintwork. And then on top of that, you can use automation to make a movie out of it. So you can go deeper. So let's take a look. The finished product. Bam. So I took exactly what I made in that image, 33, 33, 33, and it also put my signature on it in seconds. Just to compare, just to show you before. There's literally the before and the after. And just to show an example of what went down. So what happens is as soon as I upload a picture, it has to be at a certain format. So for instance, on my iPhone, I set it to be on JPEG. You click into this. So then you're going to be giving another prompt. How do I analyze this? You're pretty much telling that AI, how should I look into this image? You would specify the image URL. So as you know, Google Drive, you would make your folder public, right? Every single time you upload an image, it has a view of the link. And right here, you would have to custom create it. And you would use the file ID. So you pick one of these. So these is a big JSON of data that you're manipulating. Put it in that way. And you would pick up the model. So for instance, on ChatGPT, some of you guys might know like 4.0, it would save it. So once it analyzed that image down, so it reviewed that image, gave it a good explanation, it gave me a nice result. So what it's doing is putting into word context those words. Now, the next one is it's taking all this, which is a prompt, and it's reading it. As you see right here, your professional image prompt engineer, where you include your name at the bottom right. You can get a lot more crazier into this, but I just want to, I built out this example just to kind of show you how it goes into detail. And every single one of these, like I said, this one is a app using an API, which imagine that, remember we talked in the very beginning, a server going to ChatGPT, it's another application with an API going over to another ChatGPT, after it's like a messenger. And then it finally finishes off at the upload file where you customize that file. So as you see right here, I added a new folder location and it goes to finished. And at the very end, I'll be giving out 5 automations, and one of the automations is this one. So today you could plug it in and play around with it as well, and then you could turn it to whatever your heart desires. And you see right here, all the stuff, the input. This is pretty much what's coming from this application, and then presenting it all in this output. This is one of the first demos we go into. Now, another interesting one that I know a lot of people probably have never seen before or even thought close to thinking about this. This actually came to a problem where somebody wanted to really start making blog posts, but they just don't have time. So what I built out is one of the triggers is watch new rows. So imagine you could ask AI, for instance, give me a title, meta description, image description, a slug tag category as the top of the rows, and then give me a high level for all those different rows and columns in this industry or area. You would prompt that out, and it could fill this all out in seconds. So as we go back into this, right here we have the watch new rows. So as soon as they see a new row comes in, or for instance, I have it running just as an example for my portfolio project every Tuesday, Thursday. So every Tuesday, Thursday, this thing's going to kick off. And what it's going to do, it's going to watch one of those rows, and it's just going to create a blog with all this information you've seen. So like I said, it's going to go from the row, it's going to go to an AI. And for this one, I like Claude. Claude feels more realistic versus ChatGPT. So you do a lot of comparison and testing on that. And let's see. So for this one, we've seen that it took from the inside impact, and it would take the my description, image description, and slug. But for this one, we would make it as a user. So you see right here, take the topic, which is the title. So it grabbed this one right here. You map that out on the actual make. You make a simple English language, and then write a little piece. You can go into detail with prompting. I know people, as you get better and better at prompting, you can almost make it to anything you want. What it's doing here is it took all that message and it shot it all out. Let's see right here. And you see right here, it puts it into a article title and even brings it down, and it makes it even HTML, so you could use that later if you want to alter it or put it somewhere else. Then what I'm doing right here is I'm generating an image. You want a thumbnail for your posts. So what I'm pulling right here is make an image out of this. You can do a very simplified one. And what it's doing right here is, let me show you right here. So image description. So it's pulling this row now. So I pretty much mapped it so it pulls from that row. And as you see, everything's coming from the original trigger. Once it knows how to do that, it's making the image, and then it resizes the image for this one. So it would take that, make it to that certain size. Then let's say I want to change the format. So I decided, hey, let me change that format to PNG, because different formats you can use for different areas. This was create the media item. So right here, this is the data. So this is starting to create that little page for you to put it in. And to finally finish it off, this is where you're going to put the file tags. Hey, this is the title of it. This is the content of it. As you see, the 1 and 2, that is the title coming from this. That is coming the text response. And then you can make it more complex as we go. And just to give you an example, let's refresh this. Should be able to see a brand new one. Oh, let me see. All right, let me create a new post. That might actually be the one that I just made. Yep. Actually made this one. Yep. So just to show you in seconds how fast this did this, and you can make this even more advanced. This is just trying to show you an example of what you could possibly do, but think about in seconds this did this for you. And think about it, I'm not even on my computer. Tuesday, Thursday, it runs by itself as soon as that trigger hits. So just to show you how exciting, and look, you make it prompt on WordPress, how this is all viewing, how this is all showing. So as you can see, like this has so much potentials where you can get affiliate marketing or, the more you start seeing this, you start understanding, wow, a lot of these things I'm doing I can automate. Or for instance, I know some friends or some people that are doing a lot of stuff manually. What if I could help them assist maybe the researching part, which puts into Excel file? But like every single part I showed you on this one is almost like an employee doing certain different tasks. And you're making employees to help work for you. All right, as we're getting to another fun one. So this is the website car assistance. So I actually one of the things I realized, I have a lot of friends, don't know anything about cars. How do I help save myself some time from answering all these questions on these cars? So you might ask, I actually built a car assistance helper. Right here, what it does, how to use it. So you put your first name, last name, your email address. The email address is how I'm knowing who to send the email to, the data points. You would put, for instance, the year of car, the miles, the make of vehicle, model. Explain what happened in the car. What do you want the end result to be? So, what I'm saying, you have car issue. All of a sudden, something's going on. The car is having hot air. How do you want the end result to be? You want to have blow out cold air all the time. What it's doing right here is submitting. I have it attached to a webhook, and what it's doing is right now, it's immediately as data arrives. So right now, what I should see in a few seconds is a email coming to me. How do I fix my car, or what issues should I start seeing? This actually is helping some of my friends, for instance, go to car mechanics and try to see, not rip them off the price. So I'm about to bring this over to you in like 1 second. So let's see right here. This just created it in seconds. As you see right here, look, we have compressor evaluation, refrigerant level check. As some people who know cars, all of this did it in seconds. I didn't have to touch it. I have somewhere to put in data points, and it will shoot all the information back out. As you can see, you could do a lot of different things in here, but this is just kind of a fun personal hobby project where a lot of friends have asked me how to do these things, how I could figure out and give it to them without me being there present. As you see right here, what it did was it went through my custom webhook. So I would get all the data, all those little data points. It would prompt it out. You have received a series of details about vehicle issues, and it's prompted out what's your first name, your last name, email address. And you see those are all pulling from that form I just put in, and it will summarize it and break it down. Once it figures it out and analyze it, it will put it to HTML because certain formats like JSON will not show correctly on Gmail. So you have to think about that. Does the app accept HTML? And as soon as it does that, it will mark it down and it'll send the email. And as you see, that's where we got the data point, that email address. And with the subject right here, it gives a first name, last name, and that's the subject line that you just saw right here in the email. And then the content will show the HTML, all the things that I put in as formatted, just how I showed you. Right? And then we can go back to, let's see, let's get this. We're get the last few slides because I want to make sure we get right on time. All right. So oops, there we go. Let's go back. All right, so bonus tips for further learning. Online courses and webinars. Explore various platforms offering AI and automation courses tailored for professionals in project management. With that being as well, networking and community engagement. You want to join forums and groups focused on AI automation to connect and share insight with peers. There's a lot of things with books and articles and AI that are coming out, deepen your understanding of AI's impact and knowledge. So, key takeaways. You don't need to be a developer automate. You just need a problem worth solving. Start small, stay curious, and let the tools do the heavy lifting. Every hour you save with automation is an hour you can invest in strategy, creativity, or growth. Time saved is opportunity gained. And AI and automation are replacements. They're your new teammates. Let them handle the boring stuff so you can focus on what truly matters. Take action, and you'll surprise yourself with what's possible. We actually started a group too. This gains me a lot of leads for automations where we're starting to bring out people. And I'll put a link in the chat. And we've been starting to grow every single day. Like I said, it's only 5% of people in BA PMs understand a lot of this stuff. So as you see, it's just becoming very growing. The people who are hungry and looking for these opportunities and learning these new skill sets are starting to understand this, and they're utilizing it and started making different client projects. So this concludes the very end of our presentation. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. And what I'll do right now, let me get all those things I have on my notes. I have the automations for you guys to use. Give me 1 second. One sec. I'll pull this out and I will post those in here for you guys to use. All right. So, as we end off, do we have any questions? I know there's a lot of information, and I was trying to keep it as small as possible. This is something I actually do coaching from time to time, and this is actually the first time I've done anything for free regarding AI automation. But I wanted to give you guys some information that might have, triggered something in your brain that might bring some new innovations, something you could bring to the day to day, or some new ideas that you're doing that's so much manual work, and you're like, now I can actually do it like this. And yes, I will be making more tutorials on this. Yes, I will. I'll be actually starting doing more YouTube stuff related towards this, as I have a lot of people reaching out to me about this certain criteria in this niche. All right.
It
Any,
sounds like just as people ask you to help them with their cars, and you created this to clone yourself so you didn't have to be the one to help them, but they got the information. You might do the same thing with the videos for AI to teach people how to do this stuff that you've been doing.
correct. We notice how like you started thinking like you can have AI do a lot of this stuff for you, or like you can put these different automation tasks together to have this do this for you. So I wanted to
So,
hope. Oh, go ahead.
Seamus, are there any limits on what you can do with AI that you found so far? I mean, if you
Uh,
do it, AI can do it, except for the people relationship stuff.
I haven't hit those roadblocks yet, I guess. I know some of the things that I hear from people is a lot of them don't want to go through AI. Like for instance, Claude or OpenAI, they don't like their API to go like their information go through their API. So we have to figure out workarounds for that until we have something like secure. The only real, safe way if we do want to use like Claude and any of those like ChatGPT, you would have to self-host stuff with like NAN. Self-hosting is one of the main things I'm trying to figure out right now is how I can self-host on a cloud, and I could talk to these clients, hey, I have this server and set up for them, and they could pretty much have their own AI to talk to that is completely, data leak free.
Well, and that's where Microsoft Copilot comes into play. You buy your own setup Azure environment, doesn't go outside. And you say there, I can tell you the downside to any of this is it's only as good as the data you're pointing it at.
That's true.
100%.
I remember the early days where, believe it or not, IBM was the leader of AI many moons ago. They even did a Jeopardy tournament with Big Blue back in the day. But
Yeah.
when there was a huge difference, you pointed the data, you pointed it at the internet to get all the answers, or you pointed it at an individual data set that you've cleaned, and the
Yeah.
differences are unbelievable. And that was 20 years ago. Think about pointing something like that at the internet now. You'd get all the garbage out there. So your data set is so important when you do a lot of this stuff.
So
You focused on automation, but I do a lot with the data side of it. But it's the answers are only as good as the data you pointed at.
100%. But see, like that's another thing. Like as soon as I start bringing this stuff, you have things that I could utilize or learn from somebody who's very, very data heavy. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's such an interesting like area, like all the automation is because you can keep going on thinking and like somebody's knowledgeable in data. You can get a lot of stuff they're doing manual and figure out how to do the right process for them and so forth. So there's so many different ways and different things that you can like start thinking about and putting it to use.
so I
Yeah,
want
well,
to
when you start talking about connecting apps, sorry, I'm thinking primary keys and those kinds of things that you normally have to do with the data setup. Because if you're bringing data from one environment into another, you got to have foreign keys, primary keys, those kinds of things to, otherwise you're just copying gobbledygook back and forth. You need keys going back and forth in this structured data setup. But anyway, yeah, exactly, Peter. Exactly. That's my life, Peter.
1000%.
So Simas, thank you so much. We are open, our eyes are open to things that we didn't even know were possible. So we sincerely appreciate you bringing this to us. I want to end with two things. Right now, there's a lot of AI that's scoping the internet to try to find things. I was told that the statistics are in the last year, in the last 365 days, the material on the internet has increased from what AI has generated from 2% to 25%. So what's being found on the internet now is AI generated almost as much as it is human generated, and it's expected to continue to increase at that same rate from 2 to 25%. That's huge. Second thing is, I was told recently that if you use Google Docs for any of your material, we use AI and Google Docs kind of like they're friends. I was told you lose your copyrights because Google Docs can take any of your material you put out on it. So I don't know if it's true. I want to raise the flag to let everyone talk about that. And if you find out something definitive, bring it back to us so we can share it. Simas, again, you rock. I can't believe what you've done. I'm so excited to see what you're going to do next, and I hope that you'll bring it back to us. Let's schedule you to come back in January to see what the new updates are. Would that be okay?
It should be okay.
All right. Okay, thank you everyone. I know we didn't get a whole lot of questions and answers, but Seamus brought us such good stuff. I don't think we wanted to stop him to ask him questions. We will
Thank
see
you.
you next week,
Well-
and we will do something else awesome. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.
All right, guys. See you.
Happy 4th.